Hey guys, this is Aegis, and this is Game 2 between Beastyqt and his opponent Empirekas over here as the Red Terran. This is Tal'Darim Altar, so we're going to be seeing a TBT over here. This is the ESL version of Tal'Darim Altar. I'm not aware of what differences there might be between the Blizzard version and this one. The third expansion looks pretty normal to me, so we'll just continue this game here. This is going to be a very long game, so if you don't have that much time, watch it later. But here comes the SCV coming to the front, going to be throwing down the supply depot at the front, and GLHF from Beastyqt and Empirekas returning the favor. Empirekas going to be building his depot at the front like last game, and Beastyqt throwing it up at the rear. So gas first yet again, so we're going to be seeing that same Hellion build out of Beastyqt that did so much damage in the first game, killing more than 80 workers. So we'll see how much damage he's going to be able to do this game and see if Empirekas is ready to respond. He's throwing up his barracks over here now, also grabbing his gas at a pretty normal timing. Beastyqt will have his orbital command delayed, but those Hellions do so much damage that it does not matter. Looks like the barracks is about to finish, and the barracks on the other side is about halfway complete. Also grabbing almost enough gas to throw up that factory as soon as that finishes up. Should be also grabbing the orbital command real soon. I think it actually is taken after the factory comes up. Orbital command now third complete for Empirekas. First Marine is now on the way for Beastyqt and actually throwing up the orbital command as the same time as the factory, so interesting timing to keep note. And it looks like a supply depot wall will be erected for Empirekas, throwing down his first mule. SCV is going to be scouting in here, and it will see the fast factory, and it will also see nothing else. The Marine is going to be popping out and cleaning up that SCV. It does see the tech lab coming up, so he will be able to respond. He will know that those Blue Flame Hellions are on the way. A factory is also on the way for Empirekas. Possibly going to go for a Marine tank build this game, as it is quite a potent build, and we're going to be seeing those Hellions popping out real soon, as well as the Blue Flame upgrade popping down. And the Blue Flame upgrade should get started real soon. He has it selected. There it is, Blue Flame upgrade, as well as the first Hellion's going to be coming out onto the field. Only now scouting, actually. First Marine is going to be checking over here. A bunker is coming up for Empirekas. He's grabbed the double gas, so we will be seeing some Banshees real soon. And we've got the tech lab on the way, and the starport coming up as well. And the bunker at the front sort of suggests that he's going for that expansion, but instead of going for those Banshees, very tricky play here from Empirekas is going to be putting his opponent on his toes. And with the lower Marine count, it's going to be pretty hard to deal with that rush, especially with the command center now going down. The Hellion is going to be poking up to the front. It does see the bunker erected and ready to go. And it looks like that swap over is going to be occurring right now, swapping very quickly. Going to be throwing up that Banshee and the cloak upgrade. I think the cloak upgrade should be seeing that coming down real soon. The first Banshee is on the way. Not enough money to actually throw that down. There it is, the cloaking field coming up. Infernal Pre-Igniter is finishing up for Beastyqt. He's also grabbing his own starport to deal with the dropping action, so he will be able to drop some Hellions into the main of Empirekas real soon. Will only take a little bit more time, more Hellions popping out, and it's going to be a switch over to that reactor from the factory. This is going to put him very under in the Marine count, especially when that Banshee decides to show up. There's the Banshee now finishing up, as well as the cloak research about halfway complete. That Banshee will get there just in time for that cloak upgrade to be complete. Looks like a cancel on a bunker. Hellions now poking around the side. They will be backing around the side of the bunker and trying to head into the main. They see no expansion, and it looks like they will not be able to get in. And the Banshee is headed straight for the main. Empirekas is going to be doing a lot of damage here. Is going to lose his supply depot possibly. And the Marines have retreated, and they will be trying to get over here and doing some damage to that first Hellion. Will not be able to do it. Looks like a missile turret is being forced out of here, and a Viking has also popped out, and it will prevent that Banshee from getting too many kills. Only one kill on that so far, and it looks like he will be forcing a scan out of that orbital command. And the Hellions also returning home, and the orbital commands just do not have enough scan to be able to take out that Banshee. However, it is running out of energy pretty quickly, and it has been shut down with only one kill. The Marine has also been selected, will be coming forth and be trying to pick off that Banshee. Looks like the Banshee scan going down will be able to pick off that Banshee, and down it goes, almost not being able to do it. So Empirekas is now very far behind. He has his orbital command center ready to go, but he just can't take his expansion just yet. There's another Banshee over here trying to pick away these reactors, prevent any sort of additional Hellion production. Looks like the reactor does go down, and the Hellions will only be coming out one at a time now. Another Viking is coming up. Going to be trying to pick off those SCVs mining the gas here, and that Banshee is up to 2 kills, but the Vikings are in position, will prevent that Banshee from getting out of here. And the second Viking out on the field and just waiting for that scan right now. He's almost got it at his natural expansion, but it looks like the Banshee does uncloak due to the lack of energy. And looks like additional Hellions popping out for Beastyqt. And a drop into the main, and a couple of Hellions getting loaded back up here. Did not notice that one. Looks like he was able to clean up quite a few of those Hellions. Clean up quite a few of those workers. Empirekas losing 14 workers in that exchange and killing 4 off. Looks like a drop back into the main, and a Viking going to be cleaning that drop up. We'll probably see Beastyqt trying to do some additional damage, dropping additional Hellions in there in the near future. Factories coming up for Beastyqt, 4 of them at a time, so he's going to be grabbing the double gas at his natural expansion as well. His 2 orbital commands giving him a pretty high lead in terms of economy here. He's already ahead by 15-ish food. Mules finally dropping at the natural expansion, and some units coming across, and the Banshee continuing to advance across the field. It looks like Beastyqt will be forced to stay in his base until he gets some mobile detection. Banshee's also going to be able to do some scouting action. The Vikings are returning home. Banshee headed towards the main, but it's going to just be able to see all of these tech labs and reactors coming down, as well as the production of Beastyqt, and it looks like the food count, it has evened up. Going to be picking off a couple of SCVs here or there. No scans at the ready to pick off that Banshee, and Empirekas going to be trying to pick off as many units as possible, trying to do some additional damage in here. And Empirekas actually doing a lot of damage with this one Banshee. He's just keeping Beastyqt confined within his base, picking off a couple of stray units here or there, and it looks like those Banshees are ready, and the scan is almost saved up to go, and there's a scan going down. We'll be able to pick off that Banshee. Looks like it just almost barely gets away, and the Banshee does go down. And another missile turret on the way somewhere. Looks like over here going to be ringing his base to prevent those Banshees from poking in here and doing tons of damage. Tanks and Hellions all popping out for Beastyqt, as well as the first Raven of the game going to be able to detect any of those Banshees roaming around, and will be able to allow him to push across the field. Let's take a look at the units tab. 49 SCVs to the 44 SCVs of Empirekas. No additional drops on the way as of the moment, but it does look like the Hellions are out and about on the field, and they will be able to poke in here and see how much damage they are able to do. There's a siege tech now sieging up over here, and a single Hellion going to be poking in this direction to see if anything is going on. And the Hellions now parked at the 3rd expansion, nothing over there as of yet. And the single tank working on those destructible rocks. And a sensor tower up for Empirekas will be able to prevent any sort of unseen drop action. The Hellions going to be poking in here, going to be checking everything out, and Empirekas going to be going forth with a Marine Marauder and a ball supported by a few tanks. We're going to see if he is able to secure some center positioning or some nice positioning down here, preventing our Terran player Beastyqt from moving out. The Hellions over here are going to be continuing to keep watch over that third expansion, and it looks like the Marines and Marauders are going to be swinging towards that third base, finally taking out those destructible rocks. We'll see if they are able to break in here, and Beastyqt is going to have to relocate his troops, and he's actually moving out across the map. And here comes the tanks, and they will be sieging up. Hellions trying to get some action in here, and the tanks sieging up on the high ground. Will be able to take out a couple of units, as well as the Hellions advancing on the backside. Sea Shanks on the high ground will prevent Empirekas from advancing forward. Most of the Hellions do get taken out by those Marauders, and the Sea Shanks are going to be unsieging and going to be trying to move back to a more favorable location. The third base is almost complete, with a single Marine shooting away at that SCV. Will deny that third expansion from getting up anytime soon. Sea Shanks getting into position and will be sieging up first. And they are in range, and here comes the stim, and they will be advancing forward against those tanks. And it looks like they will be able to clean up a couple of those tanks, but the Sea Shanks over here will not be able to deal with those Hellions. And it looks like they will be unsieging and trying to get out of here, possibly destroying a couple of units here. And then also the Sea Shanks from Beastyqt going to be advancing over here, cleaning up the last few tanks. And the third expansion will be secured as an orbital command. And finally going to be cleaning up the rocks over here by Empirekas. Going to be throwing up another expansion over there in just a moment. Going to be floating it over right now. Beastyqt transferring a couple of SCVs over to that third expansion. Going to be setting up for the defense of the long term of this game. We'll see if he decides to take a pretty fast fourth base. More Marines and tanks advancing across the field. A single Hellion trying to do some damage over here is unable to get the shots off necessary to kill those Marines off. The tanks sieging up from Beastyqt on the high ground. Scans going down. And it looks like the tanks repositioning on the low ground. A single Viking going to be doing the spotting action. It looks like it will be landing and trying to shoot away a couple of those SCVs. At the natural expansion, the Sea Shanks are going to be repositioning themselves. It looks like the Viking does go down. Another scan coming up. More Vikings on the field by Beastyqt, and it looks like mining at the second expansion has been denied by Empirekas. The Sea Shanks are going to be blasting away for a while. Beastyqt going to be trying to reposition his tanks to be able to prevent this push from getting too far in here. Another scan going down will be taking out a couple more SCVs and preventing mining. Both players at 144 food, so it's very even so far. Hellions are going to be advancing across the field as well, perhaps to draw that Sea Shank fire. It looks like two Sea Shanks will be able to rain down some hell on the Sea Shanks on the low ground. And it looks like a couple of turrets also going to be dropped down and going to be helping to clean up a couple of those Sea Shanks. It looks like this push will soon be denied, but it's going to take some time. 155 food by Beastyqt and 145 for Kos. Sea Shanks are going to be inching forward once again, trying to get off some shots here and cleaning up that last tank. Another scan going down. It is unable to shoot up onto the high ground. And our red Terran player is now sneaking an expansion in the top corner over here. Looks like it has been denied from actually completing itself. Sea Shanks repositioning on the ledge, and the Vikings repositioning to be able to do some spotting action. Two Vikings on the field for Empirekas against the 6 Vikings of Beastyqt. It looks like the Sea Shanks on the low ground are going to be advancing forward a little bit. A scan going down, and the Sea Shanks sieging up once again. The two Vikings in the air will be unable to deal with it, and it looks like the Marines and the Marauders stimming and running forward. The tanks on the top side will also be raining down some fire over here. It looks like most of the Marines have been cleaned up, and some of them do get away. There is no healing available, so it's going to be really difficult to keep pushing in here as the stims continue to get used, and this expansion finally going to continue constructing here. And Beastyqt is now at 175 food to the 174 food of Empirekas. Empirekas has kind of a soft contain over here, will prevent those Sea Shanks from unsieging and walking forward. But it will be difficult to contain him as Beastyqt climbs in food and his tank count. Perhaps he may swing around the side and try to take out the Sea Shanks over here. More Sea Shanks joining the field. Going to be sieging up, and a couple of Hellions trying to poke forward. The Sea Shanks from Beastyqt also spreading out. The fourth base is almost up. A couple of SCVs getting over there to mine a little bit too early. Additional scans being thrown down. 195 food from Beastyqt to the 182 food. The third base up and mining. A couple of Sea Shanks spread out over here to prevent any sort of run by as well. Looks like a couple of Hellions over here cleaning up a couple of those SCVs. Let's take a look at the units. A workers killed tab. 38 workers killed by Beastyqt. Completely missed that happening. Looks like a huge advance forward by a Red Terran player going to be running over here. SCV's getting pulled off the line to fight against this. Looks like a couple of Hellions will be dropped off on top of those Sea Shanks to prevent them from advancing forward. Looks like a crunch in will be able to clean that up, and the tank line from Empirekas is actually looking pretty thin in comparison to the tank line of Beastyqt. More scans going down, keeping watch all over the place. A fifth base on the way for Empirekas, and this is going to give him such a huge economic lead, especially as mining out occurs at the natural and the main of Beastyqt, and the third base also going to be running dry real soon, especially with those mules going down, and Empirekas running dry at his natural expansion, completely mined out at the main. More orbital commands coming up. Planetary Fortress up at the north side. More Sea Shanks repositioning over here, unsieging, and going to be walking forward slowly. Sea Shanks over here going to be re-sieging, and it looks like the Empirekas is going to be sneaking by. Going to be moving forward. The Sea Shanks going to be raining down fire on the Sea Shank line of Empirekas, poorly controlled. He will be trying to swing towards the side once again. 3 siege tanks at the ready to prevent this move forward. Looks like the tower over here has been set on fire. And Beastyqt actually has an opportunity to unsiege and move forward against the 140 food army of Empirekas. And the +3 vehicle weapons on the way for Beastyqt. He is at 2-0 to the 1-0 of Empirekas, so actually Beastyqt is at a huge advantage. He could try to push and end the game, but it looks like he will not be trying to do that at all. The Viking count for Empirekas is a little bit low in comparison to the 6 of Beastyqt. Of course, if you can count, there are 3 Thors out on the field, so these are the siege breakers. We'll see if he's able to advance across the field and clean this up in the near future. He's got to do it real soon. This 4th base has been mining for such a long time. The 5th base is also up as well. And finally, only now looking to secure yet another expansion, banking 1,700 minerals just because he has been more efficient with his army. A couple of Hellions getting taken out. It looks like the Vikings will be engaging, but the Marines are at the ready. And a big move forward. The Siege Tanks and the Thors going to be running into this, trying to break the siege here by Empirekas. And it looks like it will get broken by the Thors. Over here, the Thors have just done so much damage, and there's only 5 Sea Shanks left with a couple of Marines. If another big unsiege move forward happens, it will be able to break this siege line, but additional units are now going to be reinforcing more Marines and tanks from Empirekas. The macro is just huge off of those 5 bases. A 6th base is on the way for Empirekas in the top right corner. Couple Hellions over here keeping watch at the Zelnaga tower. It looks like they will soon get taken out by those Sea Shanks sieging up over here. It looks like those Hellions will be chased out of here, and more SCVs going to be repairing up a couple of Sea Shanks. 2 Thors on the field, actually 3. SCVs giving everything a nice repair up. We'll see him if he decides to advance forward. Beastyqt actually being very careful with all of his units, actually going to be getting a Planetary Fortress over here. The SCVs will be transferring, and that Marine will be able to do some damage here. We'll see if he gets stimmed to possibly kill a couple of these guys off. Stim going down by Empirekas. Nice control of his units, and that Marine does get taken out by the SCVs. Sea Shanks are going to be sieging the high ground over here. There's only 1 tank in position, and and they will be able to take out a couple of SCVs over here. Seashank's going to be trying to reposition himself. Beastyqt actually having a horror of trying to reposition all of his units. SCV is getting pulled off the line and unable to do it. A couple of Seashanks going to be advancing against this position. It looks like it will be able to prevent those Seashanks from continuing to siege the high ground. However, the Thors over here still sitting idle, and a drop onto the high ground will kill off all of these Seashanks. And it looks like this will be successful in breaking into the natural expansion. And all of the units over here in the top side at this Xel'Naga tower can actually easily take out this expansion and continue to deny expansions from Beastyqt. A couple of Banshees over here trying to do some damage, but it looks like the Viking count of 4 Beastyqt is much too high. Thor's coming up and cleaning up. But Empirekas is looking in such a great position. He's got more expansions. He's got the higher army count. He just doesn't have the upgrade advantage in comparison to the 3-0. So Beastyqt needs to unsiege with the Thors leading the charge and try to bust out of here, kill off all the tanks, and possibly go for a massive counterattack. And the Seashanks up at the top side still not advancing against this position. A couple of Seashanks now at the ready to prevent that from moving forward. It's just siege line against siege line, massive trench warfare from both players. Empirekas not wanting to trade armies just yet. Vehicle plating level 1. It looks like he's going to be inching forward and re-sieging. Not quite in range to be able to do the damage just yet. Beastyqt with the white snowflakes over here will be able to defend for a little bit longer. Looks like the Thors are going to be repositioning themselves to prevent the drop over here. Both players just kind of sitting back for the moment. More missile turrets coming up for Empirekas. Another scan going down and will be advancing forward. Nope, looks like they will be backing up a little. A little bit of a drop over here, finally getting cleaned up by a Banshee. However, this expansion has been denied mining from it. It looks like a huge push forward by Empirekas, going to be breaking through the siege line. The Thors sort of out of position. The Marauders also advancing forward, and they have cleaned up quite a few tanks here. Beastyqt falling to 152 food. Empirekas at the ready with his Seashanks. There's not much over here on the high ground. If he unsieges again, it could easily end the game. The Thors over here as well. The siege tanks trying to guard that expansion. Looks like Empirekas will be backing up. Looks like no. He's going to be pushing forward into that natural expansion. Scan going down. Going to be 1Aing his tanks forward. And he's sieging up right now. The Vikings going to be doing tons of damage. Vikings from Beastyqt being forced to land, and the Seashanks and the Thors crunching in from the backside. Looks like all of those Seashanks from Empirekas will be cleaned up, but he's just got such a huge economy in comparison to Beastyqt. He's going to be able to remax so much faster, especially with this Vikings going to be headed towards this expansion, possibly killing off additional SCVs. Third base running dry for Beastyqt, and over here undeterred mining from Empirekas at 3 bases. And it looks like Beastyqt, it's his time. He's going to be advancing forward with the Hellions leading the way. It looks like a big stim from Empirekas will be able to prevent this army from pushing any further. The Marauders dealing the damage, cleaning it up. Beastyqt following under the 100 food count. Another scan going down. Going to be able to see exactly what's going on. And the Vikings over here are going to be able to clean up that orbital command. Down it goes. Oh no. This expansion over here from Beastyqt is up and mining, but it's on Empirekas' side of the map. We'll see if he decides to notice and clean that up. Single Marauder will take control of the Xel'Naga tower. SCVs transferring to those top expansions, and the Vikings going to be coming in here and possibly cleaning up a few of these structures. Vikings by Beastyqt will be able to clean up these few Vikings on the ground, but Empirekas has remaxed 182 food against the 100 food from Beastyqt, and here comes the big advance forward from Empirekas against those Seashanks. It looks like he will be able to break through real soon. The Seashanks on the high ground, however, continuing to hold the ground by Beastyqt, and the last few units spread over here going to be able to take out a couple of units before getting completely rolled by the Seashanks from Empirekas. Empirekas securing an even further lead, taking the top left-hand corner. Beastyqt desperately trying to secure yet another expansion, may even try to float the command centers from his natural expansion, already floating the command center from his main expansion. A couple of Hellions over here dealing some damage to those units over here. It looks like we've got 11 kills on that Hellion, as well as 6 kills and 3 kills. So quite a bit of damage dealt. This expansion is no longer mining due to that harassment. And we'll see if they decide to sneak by and trying to do some additional damage in the back over here. And it looks like another push from those Sea Shanks going to be sieging this third expansion, denying mining from the last bits of those mineral patches. And it looks like Beastyqt is going to be doing some pincer action here from the backside. Going to be trying to pinch off all of those Sea Shanks and clean them up. The orbital command over here going to be repositioning itself, going to be trying to do some mining at that third base. Another orbital command kind of hanging out. A couple of supply depots will get taken out, and the Hellions over here in a nice position. This guy's got 5 kills and 11 kills, going to be moving into the backside, and looks like this expansion has been cleaned up. So Beastyqt continue to put up the harassment. 82 workers. Oh wow, so many workers killed by both players so far. Looks like the last push from Empirekas will be coming real soon. He just needs to gather up his army, stim, and run forward. Sea Shanks are unsieged right now, and here comes the last push, possibly. Hellions and tanks going to be repositioning themselves. The units are pretty clumped up, but the Marauders doing tons of damage. Hellions getting in here at the last second. Empirekas getting his army cleaned up. He still has Sea Shanks over here, but a single Banshee actually taking control of it. Beastyqt, very nice job here, continuing to hold off, but it's still looking really grim. He just doesn't have the units at the ready, and it looks like this expansion has been spotted as stim forward by those Marines and Marauders. We'll be able to clean this up pretty quickly. The Vikings also landing, and the planetary fortress quickly falling. And down goes the last source of income for Beastyqt, aside from this one, actually, which he just grabbed. And here comes the huge siege up, and actually cut off Empirekas' army. So he's going to have a hard time moving back and stim forward. But it looks like the Sea Shanks are at the ready. The Vikings also doing the spotting action. Beastyqt has a nice chance of being able to push in here. And Empirekas falling to 100 food despite his huge economic lead. This is going to be able to allow Beastyqt to be able to advance in here. He's only got one bunker with a couple of units at the top of the ramp, and the tanks are going to be advancing in here with the Hellions dealing the spread damage. Oh no! Empirekas is actually falling apart here. The Hellions going to be able to make it into the main, and all of the production facilities will be under siege. A couple of Marines and Marauders in the main, but is it enough to hold off this number of Sea Shanks? Additional units being rallied towards the front. Empirekas with a huge lead at the beginning, and all of the units stimming and running forward. Will they be able to clean this up? The Sea Shank extends for quite a long run. It looks like they will not be able to break through. 2 Sea Shanks in the back trying to do some spotting action. It looks like a Viking does go down, and all of the production facilities will soon be falling. A ton of barracks being thrown up over here in the top side, and a couple of mules getting dropped by Empirekas, trying to get those Sea Shanks to kill each other. But it looks like the Sea Shanks will be unsieging and continuing to plow through here. Beastyqt with one cloaked Banshee trying to do as much damage as possible, but it looks like that missile turret will prevent it from occurring. The Sea Shanks will be sieging each other in just a second. Looks like they are targeting a couple of those production facilities. Additional Hellions running in here, trying to do additional damage. And this is giving a chance for Empirekas to actually rebuild all of his stuff in the top. And it looks like those Sea Shanks and Hellions continue to decimate the forces over here from Beastyqt. A couple of Vikings are going to be going to town on each other. Single Viking over here going to be hanging out. A Marine advancing forward and quickly gets splattered by those 3-1 Sea Shanks. And another command center has been floated over here, and there is a single Marine guarding that. We'll see if Beastyqt is able to deal the damage necessary to win the game. He's got a couple of Sea Shanks over here. Empirekas is going to lose his capacity to actually produce siege tanks. A couple of Marines and Marauders going to be cleaning up a couple of units over here, and a single Marine actually dealing tons of damage to that orbital command. And Empirekas looks like he's stabilized a little bit, trying to deal some additional damage against the tanks of Beastyqt with just the pure mules. Hellions doing plenty of damage as well. Seashank's going to be re-sieging over here. Another scan going down. And the expansion over here getting retaken by the orbital command from the natural expansion. Hellions going to be coming over here, making sure that this expansion no longer continues mining, and it's just Marines from Empirekas as of this moment. He's got a couple of units over here trying to clean up a couple of SCVs. Looks like they will be able to clean up a ton of units before this is over. 108 workers killed by Empirekas and 124 from Beastyqt. Huge amounts of damage dealt, and it looks like the Seashank count is starting to get a little bit high here. And they are going to be advancing forward in the standard way to help defend his base. Looks like the Seashanks going to be advancing and stepping forward. A scan going down and additional mules falling down. It looks like Beastyqt is looking to possibly back up. No, it looks like they're just unsieging to prevent himself from killing himself. A ton of Marines advancing across the field. They will be able to deny mining over here. There's nothing at the ready for the defense. And it looks like the orbital command and all of these SCVs will quickly fall. 100 and a lot of workers killed. 123 workers easily killed, and that orbital command will quickly fall. Not even stimming over there. They will be advancing towards the main over here into a really funky position over here. There's a single Banshee trying to deal the damage against those Seashanks. Not enough scan for Empirekas, so he's going to be losing a couple of units over here. Finally, a scan going down. Looks like that Banshee will get cleaned up, but not before taking out 2 tanks. And the unsiege from Beastyqt will be retreating. Looks like the Marines will be advancing over here. There's nothing. There's almost no indication that there was actually a base here, except for that one supply depot and the mined out mineral patches. Hellion and a Banshee guarding the expansion over here, but it looks like the Marines will be advancing over here. And a tank getting picked off. Oh no! And the ball from Beastyqt going to be trying to retreat here. Going to be trying to clean up those Marines. Those Marines fall really fast to Hellions, so they need to watch out. Here come the Hellions going to be advancing over here. Blue Flames. Oh man, all of those Marines falling to those Blue Flame Hellions. Toasty Marines. Down they all fall. Beastyqt, however, falling to 52 food to the 117 food of Empirekas. And Empirekas looks like he has secured his half of the map. Couple of Seashanks sieged up over here. They will be retreating. More Seashanks going to be advancing over here. Hellions and a couple of Vikings. And it looks like the siege up from Empirekas may be able to end this game. The Marines going to be stimming and running towards those tanks. And the last few tanks falling. It's 18 food to 106. And it looks like GG from both players. This game goes to Empirekas, and we're going to be headed to Game 3. What a long game. Very strange game here from both players. Beastyqt almost having a chance of taking that game. We're going to be headed to Game 3 right now. We'll see you there.